Well, hello there, guys. Here we are. We are heading up to After Effects. So let's just begin with the animation parts that just starts with After Effects. So when you just open After Effects, you have this window coming up. Well, I used it for different purposes, so it's just showing open a recent item. But we don't, if you are a really new person opening After Effects, you don't have this type of things showing up. So that is something. And you can even go to getting started and learn a couple of different things. So yes, you can even open a project. If you have any template file saved, you can directly open it. But what we are going to do is we are not going to open a project. We are going to start with a new composition. So let's just click that, and I will just make it, I'll just let it be what it is, and let's just make it 29.97. so the frame rate is 29.97. that's what our human eye sees, and the width and the height is 1440 into 1080. You can even choose different things like the 720, but yeah, alright, we'll just stick to the 1280 into 720. And then we have this thing coming up, square pixels, widescreen, and this is basically the aspect ratio, because the aspect ratio is always locked to 16:9. We'll just check that, and square pixels give you 16:9, but if you work on any other dimensions, then you can click any other, like 8:3, 8192:3159, and many other things. But 16:9 is the basic one, so we are just going to keep it square pixels. And then frames per second, if you want to make it more smoother, you can keep it 60, 59.94, 30, 50, whatever you want. And then we are just going to keep it drop frame, because I know that is configuration. Non-drop frame would make the duration, see, as it just comes non-drop, and then as you go drop frame, it just comes as drop. So drop frame is what we are going to keep it. And the resolution third, then it just becomes 427 into 240. Half, it just becomes 640 into 360. Full, 1280 into 720. So that is what it is, our resolution. And then you can desire your duration. We have just kept it 30 seconds. These are milliseconds, minutes, and hours. So depending upon your animations, I don't believe it would go in hours unless you are making a movie. But yes, you can use this as your 30 seconds, and you can make use of it for simple and basic animations. And you can also change the duration time whenever you want. So that's it. And you can even choose your background color. We will just keep it black for this time, and you can even make it go whatever you want, but we'll just make it black. Okay, and then hit OK. There we are, our composition file opens up, and this is more like a screen. And so what we are going to do is, this is 50%. Well, let's just keep it 100%, 50%, even 12.5%. We'll just make it 2 less, 25%, perhaps 33.3% is the right one, I believe, for this settings. So you can even change it to your comfortness, or you can even just use the zoom tool to make it zoom or zoom out. So let's just get started with the basics. That are these. There are a lot of things in After Effects, and some of the things might be useful, some of the things might be not that useful. So I'm just going to cover what I think that is useful. But if you still believe that you must know something else, so you can just drop me a personal message and I will try to teach you in this course by updating lectures. So, well, let's just move on with the upper tools that we have. This upper panel, we have our normal selection tool, as it was an Adobe software, so the same thing we have in Illustrator. Then we have got the hand tool, the same thing as in Illustrator, both are Adobe softwares. And then the zoom tool, you must know what is the zoom tool. If you don't, then well, you should know. And then you have a rotation tool. You can just know what it does. Then we have got these two tools, that is a unified camera tool and pan behind tool or anchor point tool. Well, I must show you what it does just in a minute. And this is a rectangle tool, so let me just show you what anchor point tool does. So let me just create a shape, and whenever you create a shape directly from here, it just automatically creates a shape layer. So what are these layers? Well, I'm just going to tell you, but you have to wait for a minute. So what is the anchor point tool? Well, you select this, and this is known as the anchor point. So you can move it anywhere you want, around the screen, out of the screen. Alright, so I'm just going to keep it in the corner. So when I use my rotation tool, it just rotates from the anchor point. Just rotating from the anchor point. So that's the thing about the anchor point tool. It can be used in various purposes, even the scale purposes. I'm going to show you what is scale and how it works out. So that's what anchor point does, and it is pretty useful to us. Let's just keep it. Let's just go Control Z. Yeah, it's normal. And then we have got the pen tool. We all know how it works. We were just working with the pen tool in Illustrator, so you should know what is the pen tool. Then the text tool, the horizontal text tool or type tool or whatever you call it, but it's basically the same as in Illustrator. Brush tool, the same as in Illustrator. It's no difference. Most of the things have no difference for drawing and such purposes, because it's after all Adobe. So then we have got our clone stamp tool. Well, the clone stamp tool will be not covered right now, because it needs a footage to be covered. So I'll be showing that you in the movie type effects lecture. And this unified camera tool actually uses 3D stuff, so we will just use that tool and I will explain it to you in the 3D animation lecture. So I hope you understand. And then we have got our eraser tool, the easiest one. So eraser tool, you must know how it works. And then the rotor brush tool, well, that will be also covered in our the footage that we need. So in simple animations I will show you how the rotor brush tool works. And then we have the pin tool. Well, the pin tool is actually used for character animations. So if you want to make a 2D animation creating a character, this one will be very much helpful. So just what you should do is drop up in there, where you want to move the object to, and then there, and then there, and then just drag it down, drag it this way, that way. So if you have a if you have a cartoon, then you can just point it around its arms and stuff like that, and it will be being used to it. So that's the pin tool for you. It's pretty easy, and you can also even directly go to Adobe Character Animator to do that. It just basically works on the pin thing. So it just looks like a flying mat or something like that. Just it's like the wind is blowing or something like that. You can just give such animations. So that's the pin tool. It's pretty helpful for animators. So yeah, that's the basic window up there. And then we have got these things that are really essential. So let's just delete everything, and then normal selection tool. So first of all, we must know our layers. So what are layers? Well, we have got a text layer, so you just get to type things. So if you just directly use the text tool, just so it just creates automatically a text layer. You could see the T, that's a text layer. So now it just shows that it's an empty text layer. So that's our text layer, and then we have got our solid. So you can just make it a real solid one. Let's just make a grid color. Yeah, alright. Okay, you can just cover the background if you want effects like dropping, it's just coming up. You might see such effects in my second lecture of the course, that is for giving you some important notes on how to use this course and what you should keep in your mind. So you could see those animations coming up, and for that, the solid thing is basically useful. You could just scale it down. Well, my computer, it's a bit laggy. You could just scale it down. As I told you, it's a bit laggy, so it is, yeah. So you can even change the anchor point, move it there, and then like this. So it just creates an effect. So that's your solid tool, solid layer. And then you've got another layer that is a light layer. So basically what the light layer does is, actually we'll just keep it white and make it as a spot. Fall off, no, we are not going to group. Let's just keep cast shadows. Shadow diffusion, no, 0. Okay, so what this is, well, fall off, well, it's just making the light a bit smoother and making it bigger or something like that. But I don't think it's fall off is very useful. But this one is actually that matters. You can keep your color light as a spot point, as an ambient light, or as a parallel light. So well, just keep it as a spotlight. So but the light thing needs a 3D layer, so we must create the 3D layer first. But you can see this is the light part, and it can be scaled down, it can be moved around through this y-axis and z-axis and stuff like that. X, Z. You could just do it on your own. So that's your light. So you can just see it coming through here. It's now facing us. So you need a 3D layer for that. First of all, that's light for you. Let me just delete that. 3D will be covered later on. I just forgot the light comes in 3D. Camera also does come in 3D, so that will be also covered later on. And then you've got a null object. Well, the use of null object is actually very much important. The null object is really important for making things. So if you have just text, so null object is the one that works out to do the animations of texts and stuff like that. So null object is here. Like the type effect, you can use null objects for that rather than using a preset. And then you've got a shape layer. I just told you what is a shape layer. An adjustment layer. Well, the adjustment layer, so the adjustment layer is around here. Here's an adjustment layer. So if I just create one, and perhaps you have got a lot of things to change. So let me just import something. My computer is really too slow. Slow computers are really not good. Not seriously good. Yeah. So we have a window out, and it's still loading. It's really too slow, slow beyond imagination. So let's just drop a video out here. Which video I have? Well, let me just drop the video that I created, the animation video. Alright, it's importing it. I want to show you another great feature of After Effects, but alright, yes.